Welcome back, our listeners, to the Football Exponential Show. I'm Chika, and I'm joined by Frank. Today we'll be talking about nobody else but Arsenal, because if you
Yeah.
watch today's game, Frank, did Mikel Arteta just provide a blueprint on how to beat Pep Guardiola today, with Arsenal running away with a 5-1 victory?
No, I won't say the blueprint, but because the blueprint has been there for a long time. It's just like we've seen they've lost 7 games this season already, so there's nothing new. But I feel this victory probably will go down, or will be seen as probably the best and most impressive win for Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, and
If
because
Arsenal
it's
wins the
not
league,
just in the
if Arsenal wins the league
yeah.
trophy this season, it will be a handing of the baton. This game will be remembered as the game where City, if they end up winning the league title, this which is unlikely. Continue.
Yeah, yeah, but I feel because for the last 3 years in the Premier League, Arsenal have been trying to catch City, trying to get close to them. They've gone very close. I think closer than any other team has done in the last 3 years. And today's result shows that right now Arsenal are a better team than City right now. They're in a better shape. They have a manager that's coaching out of his skin week in, week out. I know this thing has not gone to plan as with the ambitions overall. And the unfortunate part of it that it might just come down to it might not mean it's not meaningless because it has value as well. But I just feel the parts that no one expected was the Liverpool to be in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Arsenal will probably look back at some games this season, some decisions that have gone against them, that they've just not been able to just get close to Liverpool. Now they've I feel at this moment in time they've gone past Man City, but they can't get close to Liverpool. I know they're 6 points behind Liverpool right now, with Liverpool the game in hand, but I just feel the way Liverpool are playing week in, week out, the way they're going to tough stadiums, they're going away to Nottingham Forest, going away to Bournemouth, teams on form, teams that have been very good this season, and they're somehow finding ways to get results. It's nothing short but outstanding. But I feel back to us. I feel this is Arteta's magnum opus as head coach. The intensity at which they play, the control, the aggression, the physicality in that Arsenal team. Man City can cope. Man City could not cope with that this evening. But again, I feel it might be just it might be it might be a situation where you just look back and look at what could have been instead of what's happened, because you're better than Man City. You beat Man City, you've outclassed Man City, beating Man City 5-5 goals to 1 in the Premier League. I don't think that's happened in a very long time. I can't remember the last time that's happened. This between the Pep Guardiola Man City by 5 goals to 1. And you still see how far they have to go in the Premier League. But focusing on today, there were a lot of bright sparks for Arsenal, I feel, but Declan Rice was one of them. And I'll give a player I don't like very much. I'll give him a lot of credit today. A player that I was really impressed with him today.
Kai
I have
Havertz.
it. I know him. Yeah, he missed. I know he missed a sitter early in the I think it's in the first sometime in the first half. But luckily, it was mathematical at the end of the day. But he finished fantastically on the fourth goal, and he had an assist on the first goal. But I think his overall work rate today, his energy, the pressing, the amount of ground he covered today for this football team, for his teammates, it's not a short outstanding. And it goes to show sometimes it's not. I understand he plays in the number 9 position, but he's a player that he's there not just for his goals. He's there for the work rate.
But
And
hold on,
I'm not going to go as far as
let
say,
me start a debate you won't like. I'm not a big fan
okay,
of Dominic Solanke, but having watched him for
yeah,
Spurs, I'm highly impressed. I feel if Solanke was an Arsenal player, they would have been better than Havertz, because he presses and
yeah,
he's physically more
yeah,
domineering. Physically more domineering than Havertz. He's very, very physically up there.
yeah,
He's not as fast as
yeah,
Havertz.
yeah.
I don't think he's fast as Havertz, but he presses and he
He's a
finishes
better.
better than Havertz.
I think he's a better finisher. It brings more to the table in terms of in box movement
But
and all
will
that.
he step
But I
up?
just feel
It's also possible. Sometimes these players don't end up stepping up to the big club. Harvard have shown they can
yeah,
step up. That's a big question. That's $1 million question for Solanke. Continue what you're saying.
yeah. But I think with Solanke, like he's shown in the big games this season, against games against City, Chelsea, Manchester United as well. He's played well. He's contributed goals and his overall play. But I just feel with Arsenal, it's not. There's been this discussion about what Arsenal need is do they need a goal scorer? Do they need a number nine? And I feel the discussion is framed in the wrong way. I don't think Arsenal need a number nine. They need
They need a
better
number
quality
nine.
in attack. No, I feel they need better quality in attack, not just a number nine. Because if you get a number nine and you don't improve on the left wing, for example, you don't like basically if you get number nine, say you get Isaac, for example, and Isaac comes in, Isaac is playing with Trossard on the left and Martinelli on the right, it's still the same. It's not the
But,
same
but,
per
but
se,
you
but
and
because
I know that
obviously
the
Isaac.
left wing, you and I know that it's easier to improve on the number nine than improve on the left wing. When you look at the left
No,
wing, are you going to buy Vinicius Junior? That's one of the reasons why,
no,
in as much as I didn't like it, I supported Manchester United giving Rashford the contract they gave him. Because when he was in his prime, that season he had 33 goals. There was no enough players that played that position so well. Anthony Gordon is just coming up, but how many goals does he contribute? You come to Chelsea, who understand that position, only Vinny
yeah.
Junior and maybe Mbappe are the only except that Mbappe or PSG.
Oh,
Are
no,
the,
no. I think that's I would disagree that there's talent everywhere. So, for example, take a player like Morgan Rogers, for example, a player that's he's got a Champions League hat trick this week
yeah.
on the anniversary of his move from the championship to Middlesbrough to Aston Villa. So within a year, we've seen how far he's developed. And Morgan Rogers is not exactly a striker per se, but he's a player that operates behind the striker and that can operate behind the wings. But that's the quality, that's the level of quality I'm talking about. A player that's just physically very good, but also technically good as well.
But it's
And you
difficult to
see,
get Trossard,
no,
for example.
yeah, I know, I know,
Understand
I
what I'm
feel,
saying? You don't have that patience. You have to give the person like 2 years to really, really see what he can do. And if he
but,
doesn't, or a year, if he doesn't work
but
out, look at Sancho, look at Chelsea, look at Noni Madueke, he's still growing. Oh, look at Neto. So
yeah, I know that's, yeah,
Doku,
you see,
Doku flashed. Savino today is here to deliver.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're 100% right. There's a bit of the patience where you have to get these players, you allow them fit, get in, grow into the team. But there's some players you can get in that can come in and make immediate impact. Like Trossard, for example, or the player Arsenal bought in January window from Brighton. He's coming and he had immediate impact from the first couple of weeks. He's never been the starter in the team, but he's been a very good value to the squad. And that's what I mean. So players, you can get value for players around the Premier League. Even if you go down to the Championship, off the top of my head, I can count 6, 4, 5 players that can get to this Arsenal team. I will make immediate impact. In Buemo for one, Young Wissa is another player. The lad at Everton, in that is a very good player as well. Even 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 a player like Abdullah Pat,
But
if
they
it's
can get Cunha.
Ipswich Town.
Cunha can play that position.
Exactly. So it's just I just think it's not just about the exact position where the player goes if it's just a number nine. I think it's the depth of quality, the depth of talent they have in attacking areas. Because Arsenal stacked. They have enough defenders to to um to challenge over the course of a long season. In midfield, I still feel they need one more midfield because Jorginho and Partey they're coming towards they're coming down the
No,
cliff
no, no, no.
of their football
They
challenge.
need
They,
100%. They need no.
they need
They need two
they need
defense. They need two central midfielders because they
they
drop
need
off. They drop off from Rice, Odegaard, and then Partey. When you go down to Jorginho, the drop off is too. So
excellent. It's
I
massive.
think
And
Partey should. It might be on his way out because anytime they don't give a new player a contract and
yeah,
I don't. I always take it that for you not to have agreed before it expired. I always say there's something wrong. Because
yeah,
if my contract is running down and I end up signing a contract towards the end, I think I would be foolish to do that. If you don't offer it to me, why will I sign? Why will I resign with you? Yeah, you can
yeah.
continue what you're saying.
And another point I'll add on it, and there were two. Well, there was one player who was amazing today. The teenage kid, Miles Lewis Kelly, who was for me, I think for me,
He's
my man
good.
of the match.
It's good.
That's this is an 18-year-old academy player that's come to Arsenal ranks and is in Arsenal's first team. He's keeping an Italian international on the bench, Calafiori. And this is where you question out the overall the not just the direction where Arteta's prioritized his signings, where you have a kid that's as good as this. Maybe before the season has started, before this season, you haven't really seen him if he could cope. But since every time I've seen him play for Arsenal, regardless of the opposition, the competition, he's always been one of the best players on the pitch. Not in the position, I'm just talking about the entire pitch on both sides. And it's just a situation where could you have trusted this guy with more minutes earlier on, and you allocate more money to the attack. Another player, for example, is the Spanish midfielder Mikel Moreno. I don't think he's had an impact at Arsenal yet. Again, another player where you had the other guy, the guy that scored the fifth goal, now
Honestly,
Nwaneri. Could you have could you have brought him into the squad? Could you have given him or trusted him with first 10 minutes a bit earlier? Because there's this whole idea that okay, we always try to be protective with young players. Okay, it's a bit too young. Can he handle it? Sometimes you just have to throw them in the deep end and see if they swim. We both have young kids, and they tell you how to get young kids into swimming. Sometimes you just carry them, throw them in the pool,
yeah.
and the young at that young age, their motor skills are so.
With the safety stuff, they have to wear the safety,
Yeah,
the
no, no,
floating
it's of
stuff.
course,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, of course, it's the controlled area. Arsenal have a very good team, very good setup. That very well coached. Why don't you throw this young player in a bit early, and then if you prioritize your limited resources in getting more quality in attack? Because it
If he
seems
had
now
trusted Nwaneri, there's no way he would have brought in Sterling.
exactly that's
Yeah,
exactly
because
what I'm
the
saying.
both of them
And
hardly played games. The opportunity Sterling had, if Nwaneri had it, he would have been a way better player than he is.
yeah,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
and this is a player that already has 8 goals this season in all competitions, and he had at the age of 17. He scored 2 fantastic goals this week, one in the Champions League and one against Man City. So the talent is not the question. It's just the bravery and the trust you give these players. And I feel Arsenal have on their hands two fantastic young English players. And I was watching Lewis Kelly today. I was like, okay, you know what? For years, England, Arsenal, they've all, especially England and Arsenal, per se, they've all been looking for the next best left back so that she call, especially England as well. And I feel we have the answer here. Lewis Kelly could be the solution to Arsenal's left hand defensive issues and England's overall lack of left back quality. Because it's just, and again, this is it's also important to add. He's by training, he's the midfielder by training.
Oh,
Who's doing a
Sterling.
job at left back.
Oh,
Yes, Kelly. But he looks so
no,
I think he's the
that
player that's a
position is
press.
made.
Yeah, I think that should be his position going
And
forward.
I want to say
I know you
something right
can.
now. When is the World Cup?
Yeah,
When is the World Cup?
World Cup is. I think the World. I think
Next
20.
is
I
this
think it's
year.
next year. Yeah, next year.
Is next year.
20. No, I think it's next year. 2026.
Don't be surprised if that
Yeah.
guy starts for England.
I forget the World Cup.
Because if you
They have.
look at that position is Luke Shaw's position, right? I used to have a position. Is it Luke Shaw or is going to be Ben Chilwell? But the coach prefer Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is hardly plays. Ben Chilwell is down. Shaw is off. Chilwell is up. He was using 3P at the time. 3P is no longer in the picture. Kyle Walker cannot play that position. So that position is open for anybody. If you look at who is nailed on to play in that position, the guy from Newcastle, Lewis Hall. But if you look at
Lewis
the
Hollis.
way this guy is playing right now with Arsenal going higher or getting better, I won't be
He.
surprised if he makes. To me, if I'm a coach, I'm not saying I'm raising his hope. I'm telling him, let that be a target for you because there's something special about that kid.
No, he's special.
What I like about that kid is I've only seen it in the eyes of Rooney. I've seen it in the eyes of Garnacho. I've seen it in the eyes of Rashford when they were coming up. You see that hunger.
Gallat.
You yeah, Garnacho had that. Garnacho had that. The Garnacho when he comes on or
Okay.
when Garnacho had it, forget about him not celebrating
Yeah.
or
Okay. Yeah.
whatever. It's
Okay. Yeah.
different for
Yeah.
the
Okay.
likes
Yeah.
of
Understood.
Machelda, John O'Shea. Those are
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
people. But I saw it
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Rashford. I remember the day Rashford scored 2 goals against Manchester City. I think it was Luis Van Gaal who was the coach or something like that. You
Yeah.
could
It's
see that
close.
hunger.
Yeah.
Rooney had it. Race James had it a little bit, but more of he's not the extroverted kind of individual. He's more
Yeah,
introverted.
that
But this
it's
Skelly
yeah.
or
You see,
whatever, he has the raw
he
energy or the raw race. Smith
and
Rowe didn't have it. They had Smith Rowe,
yeah,
they had Nelson something, they had Willock, but this guy is the real deal. He loves that club. That club is a part of his life. He breathes, eats, drinks.
yeah,
They have a player on their hands or in their hands.
yeah.
I'm happy for
And
them.
and 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 I think just to add on what you said about the kid, I think he has because we talked about it a few weeks ago. This the difference between some young players at different clubs, and I always feel the difference between a young player playing well at a big club is the personality. It's how you're able to express yourself on the pitch, regardless of the position you play. And like you said, and I just thinking like I think you're right about Garnacho. When Garnacho got into the United team, he came with a lot of energy, a lot of he was exciting to watch when he first got into United. The same can be said about Kobe Mino. And this kid has it right now. And I feel he's for me for me, I think he should be one of the first names on the Arsenal team sheet going forward because he's that good.
Yeah.
And he brings but he brings a lot, not just his passing, but he deals. There was a challenge he had on there was El Haaland peeled off to him in the first half trying to
Yeah, the
because
first
you know
time,
he's
yeah,
a
the
bit
way
he's a
he
bit
put him out, yeah.
yeah, it's a bit obviously a bit smaller. It's a smart thing to do, but the way he brushed off in Haaland like it was nothing. And this is one of the strongest players in Premier League. And I was like, wow, this is. And they obviously also add the goal he scored. The like it's you cannot you cannot not understate how brilliant that goal was, where you get the ball on your left foot, you look up, there's the space opens up, you drag it to your right foot, and you find the top corner of the basically you find the side netting, inside side netting of the post. Brilliant finish, brilliant performance today from him and his fellow academy teammate, it's a now one
One
area.
of
I think
yeah.
for us, I think for Arsenal, this is because I feel overall, just my last on us, I feel Arsenal that my issue with them is they're a bit emotional sometimes, and also that's probably what makes them what they are right now. Where it seems because they need or they feel they need to win so bad, and sometimes they get lost in the whole. I don't think Arsenal have had a bad season. They've had a very good season this year. If you look at their last 14 games, they're unbeaten in 14 Premier League games. That is not easy to do,
But I say
and it's just.
yeah, finish.
And well, I just feel for them, it's a bit painful the fact that they're going for the big prize and in the year where they felt they could get close or they could get close to the top and the top being Man City, where they've closed that gap. But here comes a Liverpool team that's just as good as Man City, and that's where and I feel that's the difference this season. In any other year or the last couple of seasons, Arsenal win the league this season if by how they performed. But with what Liverpool are doing, it's been amazing what Liverpool are doing.
Yeah, I want
So,
to.
but
I object to what you said, and I object in a good way. This is what I feel. Maybe I'm emotional, right? I'm not an Arsenal fan. Arsenal is the
yeah,
least liked club in England to me. I don't like Arsenal,
yeah,
but I
yeah, for
always
good
want to
reason.
be objective, right?
Yeah,
Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and Barcelona. Those are my three worst clubs. Like those are no good. I can support any other team, but not Arsenal, Bayern, and
yeah,
Barcelona.
yeah,
Now back to what I'm saying.
yeah,
But having watched this game, I'm so impressed with Arteta. Like I was like, I was so impressed. He showed me how to easily beat City because he played a high line. And if you look at the high line was so high, but he made Gabriel to be the one marking Ellen Haaland. And the one
yeah.
time Gabriel wasn't on Haaland, Haaland scored when Saliba made a mistake and then he came in front of Saliba and scored. He played with the Haaland. They were physically imposing and they play with intensity and they press City because City
The
goalkeeper
press,
they made like three errors. Havertz didn't convert one,
yeah,
Odegaard scored one. They press them so high. Now, why am I so impressed with Arsenal? Now,
yeah.
I will say that the title race is open. I'll say that very well.
But
And if I'm
mathematically, it's open.
no, not mathematically. With what I've watched today, and this is why I feel Arsenal are still in the title race. I looked at the points; it's 6 points. If
Yeah,
Liverpool go to Everton and draw, which is not impossible, which let's assume they even
Everton
win
are,
9 points.
yeah,
But even at 9 points, why am I so much impressed with Arsenal? They are playing without Saka. I stood here and said the
yeah,
title run is gone. I remember saying it. But what I've watched, I expected them and results. Arsenal to me are the most unlucky club in England today. Because there are so many
yeah.
games.
We
I don't
spoke
want to say
about,
there's a
yeah,
conspiracy against Arsenal, but I don't know why the
yeah.
game calling
We spoke
always
about it
goes
last week.
against them. Trossard was
Yeah,
sent off for something that wasn't consistent. They've abandoned it. Havertz was sent off for the same thing that they've abandoned. You look at Saliba against Brighton. When have they ever been? When have they ever given a penalty?
no, no,
I've never seen it, but they
no.
gave out
If
against
just
them.
just you're going too far. Last week, just go back to last week. The decision they got last week.
Yeah. So,
It's
but if you look at
it's
Liverpool, some people still doubt if yesterday's penalty against Bournemouth was a penalty. Some referees won't give that.
it was
Results
a pen.
have
It's a
favored
pen. It's a pen.
Liverpool. I'm not saying any conspiracy. It has favored them so much. And Salah is always scoring a penalty. You see some games that they end up not winning. They went to Nottingham Forest. I think it was a loss and a game. So to me, Liverpool has been
Oh,
overperforming. Liverpool are playing like prime Manchester City. They are getting the points. It might come to a time
yeah,
where they drop
yeah,
2 or 3 points. And I won't be surprised if
yeah,
Arsenal is there to take it. So if
yeah.
Arsenal
It's
beat
yeah,
them, it remains 6 points. All I'm trying to say is with what I've watched what I've watched with Arsenal, the way they've played, I'm so impressed with them. And I'm
yeah,
saying if I'm
yeah,
them, I'm thinking we can
yeah.
still win it.
Yeah, it's true because I agree because it's also important to mention the loss of Saka and the loss of Odegaard earlier in the season, and loss of players like Ben White, Calafiori for large parts as well. But I also feel the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool is, do I trust Arsenal not to be, because from Arsenal need to be perfect from now up until the end of the season to stop Liverpool from winning the title. And it's because again today I feel like today is obviously against Man City, it's a big game, everybody's up for it. But what happens when you go away to an Everton, for example, and away to not have enough tools to all the goals you need to score, defend how you need to defend. And I feel like the exact like pointer case is the recent or one of the most recent home games against Aston Villa, where they go 2 goals up in about 50 or 55 minutes, and they then concede 2 goals at the back end and draw the game 2-2. That is what I mean when I have doubts about Arsenal. Is with Liverpool, I feel Liverpool sometimes I watch Liverpool and it feels like teams have to work so hard to get a goal against Liverpool. I watched the game and sometimes it's a bit of luck, it's a bit of brilliant defending, brilliant goalkeeping. I watched the game against Bournemouth this weekend, and Bournemouth they attacked fantastically, but they could not just get a goal. And when you have Salah doing what he could do up the pitch, and when you get lucky with some penalty decisions, it then helps you. And that's the question: where can Arsenal last the course of? Can they go 10? Can they, because they're unbeaten in about 14 Premier League games? Can they stretch it to 20 games? Can they go on a run of 6 straight wins? Because Arsenal is not necessarily defeats, but it's sometimes they've not done enough to win games. Like back to the Aston Villa game as well. The game that they had before around Christmas against Everton, where they drew 0-0 at home to Everton. That's where the issues are with Arsenal. I also feel overall there's this whole discussion about if Arteta doesn't win this year, there's a failure. I just feel Arsenal need to embrace the fact they have a fantastic coach, and I feel Arteta is a fantastic coach. He's built a fantastic team. But I feel what Arsenal need, they need that extra X factor in that team to get over the line. And I'm not a person that believes massively in you need to get experienced players, or sometimes you need to believe you can win it. And I feel that's what's pushing Liverpool. Liverpool, they look so they play like Premier League champions. That's the best way I can say. They play like a team that's been here before, experienced it. They know how to manage games. This is a bit is casual for Liverpool. While with Arsenal, it's a bit emotional, a bit too emotional per se. But I feel for Arsenal, that was a fantastic win. Good for them. Happy with some players, and one player, Declan Rice as well. Declan Rice was amazing, amazing, amazing this evening.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So let's quickly go to the next one. Uh, with Manchester United. Today United lost again to Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. For our listeners, let me um feed them with some
yeah,
context. Um, um Crystal Palace have now gone 8 games unbeaten in the Premier League this season. Crystal Palace have played 4 games without conceding against
Yeah,
Manchester United after this game. Crystal Palace have played Manchester United 11 times. In the last 11 games against Manchester United, Palace has won 6 times, 6 out of
yeah.
11. That's massive. This is the fifth defeat in 7 Premier League games at Old Trafford for Manchester United. Overall, this is their seventh defeat in 13 home games this season.
And
That one is not
and
is not
and
whatever.
and
It's
just
not.
just as again, just to add in terms of the statistical aspect, the number of Manchester United home games it took for, so it basically took Louis van Gaal. Van Gaal lost 5 home games in 30 out of 30. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lost 5 Premier League games at home in 31. And Ten Hag, out of 28 games, he lost 5 of them at home. Amorim has 7 games.
Hold on. Solskjaer, how many? Solskjaer
Solskjaer,
lost
Solskjaer had
uh 5 home
So-
games in 31.
Solskjaer had 5 losses in 31 home games. Ten Hag had 5 in 28. Ruben Amorim has 5 home losses in 7.
Jesus.
He's the
Yeah.
fastest Manchester United to lose 5 home games in this short amount of time. Jose Mourinho doesn't apply because he lost only 4 in 46 games at home, and
That's
like I asked the question today. Do you think it gets to a point where Ruben Amorim gets the treatment or gets it? it,
no. First of all,
no, wait, no, no,
when I watched the
let
press conference, the way he talked about
no,
Rashford,
no,
you can't talk about Rashford. I'm not defending Rashford, but you can't talk about Rashford that way and be losing this kind of
yeah,
games. If you want to act tough, you win tough.
yeah, but again, but just because of the question I was asking.
You have to back it up.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm trying to say? You have to back up what you can't talk tough in press conference or during press conference. Now lose this game, go back to the dressing room to act tough with these players. United are 13th in
Yeah.
the table.
It's and
So and when I watch them, I think sorry to he is good, but I think he is so much inexperienced. This is what
oh,
I mean.
okay,
The Maguire I watched back in the days,
yeah,
right? He was so inconsistent, right? He was so inconsistent. Apart from when Maguire was in Leicester City, and soon after he joined United, this is the best he has played this recently. Now, what I'm trying to say is that listen, what I'm trying to say is that he is killing that club playing a high line. Those players are not suited for. I don't care what is your philosophy. You have to win games now. Play a 4-3-3 and get the best out of them.
okay, okay,
Because
okay,
this is why I have a
okay. Wait,
problem with him. He has two players that create a lot in Fernandez and
yeah,
Ahmad.
yeah,
Just use them up front. You have two players in Fernandez and Ahmad who create. Play a 4-3-3 with Meno and Ogate. That defensive, they're playing high line. All those Mazuari and Dalot, he doesn't need them because they don't add anything forward. They don't add anything
okay. So,
behind. I don't care about the philosophy.
but
Yeah,
so
I'm listening.
so so the question I was trying to ask is, do you think Amorim gets the same you get the same treatment Graham Potter gets or Graham Potter got while he was Chelsea head coach, where you go in, there's a lot of things building around you as the main guy to lead the club. The club has invested in you, in your ideas, your system, and they brought your entire coaching staff, even down to the goalkeeping and set piece coach. What do you think results? Because I feel like especially football is a game ruled by results. Yes, you can talk about tactics,
Mm-hmm.
nuance, transfers, but end of the day, it's results. It's results have to come first. And I just feel to an extent I agree with everything you said. But
Okay, it's Beto. It's Beto better than
But
Hoyland.
exactly, no, but that's no.
But
See,
he
what?
used
No,
him
no. But
yesterday.
see, but honestly, I don't know. And the difference is like the two strikers they have, Rasmus Højlund and Zexi. Both of them, they've not scored the Premier League goal in 12 and 14 games. There are two strikers that haven't scored in more than 3 months. Sorry, more than 2 months.
I don't
So
care.
no, no. So the question I ask is it's we saw this thing for large parts of the last 3 years under a different coach that played a different system. So the guy played 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and it did not work with this group of players. and they've invested heavily with that guy, and they continue to invest going to this season. A guy like Ugarte, for example, that comes into this team, who's a very good ball winner, but he's not exactly athletic or good on the ball per se. So so how do you shape this thing where you go get this guy who's all his plays for majority of his life or majority of his coaching career is this one shape, this three at the back and the whole three at the back with wing backs. But the issue they have is they don't have wing backs. So should the coach? I said the coach should be more flexible with his approach. So in the- with
That's that is what I
in the
feel.
short
But hold on, those wing backs. I don't care what you tell me. Those wing backs are hurting the
yeah,
team.
I agree. I
The
agree.
purpose of wing back is to create
Yeah,
or score. They are not
they're not
scoring.
creating.
They are not creating.
Yeah,
Chelsea had Marcos Alonso. He was scoring. He could give you 5 goals in a season and maybe 2 assists. They had Victor Moses. Victor Moses could give you 3 goals
yeah,
that season, and he was defensively
and
solid.
more than
They have Mazuari. They have
the
Dalot. They are not creating. They are
and
not
also
assisting, and they are just in the team. So why are you playing
and I
them?
feel not just even the numbers of the goals and assists they bring. I feel with wingbacks, the entire goal is to create overload in attacking positions where you attack with 5 players, where they stretch the pitch for the guys in the middle to have space on the ball, and they bring pace on the width. But I feel first of all the players about 80% of the players in this team are not good enough at this level. I'm talking about the Maguires, even the late Onana, for example, where on a good day for Nana is what you get today, where he makes a couple good saves, but he's helpless with both goals he concede. And he eventually, and honestly, he doesn't make a mistake. That's a good day for Nana. But a bad day for Nana is what you saw a couple of weeks ago against Brighton. Dallo, I don't think Dallo is good enough in this system. I don't even think he's good enough at fullback. In midfield, Ugarte, question mark. So you're looking at only Bruno Fernandes, Kobe Meno, and Ahmad basically. Garnacho was terrible today. If I see Garnacho at Stamford Bridge, if I see Garnacho at Stamford Bridge, between you and me, Chika, I'm done. If I see Garnacho at Stamford Bridge tomorrow is transfer deadline. If I see Garnacho at
They said third is the
Third,
deadline.
if I
Yes,
see Garnacho,
second.
if I see
Yes.
Garnacho, if I see Garnacho at Chelsea, Todd Bowley, you catch me in the car park. If I see Garnacho at Chelsea, Garnacho. So it's
But
I
mhm.
feel so I feel
Yeah, I'm
it's just
listening.
it's a big mess where but I feel as you get bad results, Amorim is losing a lot of good faith he has with the fan base. Where it's you can't lose you can't be on this road you can't have played 7 home games and lost 5. I'm not talking about you like I'm not talking about the Arsenals or Liverpool. You've lost these games to Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Newcastle. These are good teams, but these are not the teams. These are not some of them. This is not Arsenal. This is not Man City. You're losing, and it seems whenever they come up against like the best performances so far under him has been against the quote unquote the better teams, against Arsenal away in the FA Cup, against Man City away in the Premier League, against Liverpool where they play fantastic with energy, with pace. The Premier League where they draw 2-2. But the last 3 home games against Southampton, Brighton, and today, they they barely create anything when they play those games. If it's not Ahmad being brilliant, they don't create chances. I was looking at stats today. They had only one big chance created today, and it just
Yeah, I was. Hold on. As we were talking, I was writing down some names that was coming from my head. Lucas Digny, Olaino, Anthony
yeah,
Robinson, Emerson Palmieri, Mark Kukurea. These are highly offensive left
yeah,
or right back. I didn't put Rich James. I purposely didn't put Rich James. I didn't put Trent
yeah.
because
That's
those
those
are
are
like
those are
these are regular players who are highly offensive. Then another player I want to put here is Mikolenko, the guy at
yeah,
Everton.
Mikolenko.
These are highly offensive players, not really defensive. But you could see Olaino could whip a cross, very
Yeah,
good cross. Positioning, he's still struggling. He's not very good in positioning, but he's physically very,
yeah.
very good. You look at Digny. Digny has never been good defensively, but he knows how to give assists. There's a Chelsea boy that Chelsea sold to Aston
Uh,
Villa. I like him a lot. He went to Borussia Dortmund.
Martin.
He
Yeah, it's
went
a
to
good,
Dortmund.
it's a decent player there.
Yeah, it is a good
Yeah.
example. Anthony Robinson has gotten. I didn't put Kakes here because Kakes is not very good offensively, but so if you look at Dalot and Mazwari, they don't offer that thing for
But but
United.
but but but,
So break it
but
down.
also they've recently announced the signing of Danish wingback Dogo.
Let him have one bad game, then they will say he's a bad signing.
No, say no, boy,
20 years old.
but again, but I think one of our previous records, I asked the question like at some point, at what point do we say this United situation is a bit spiritual? I, no. Again, I asked again. At what point do we say this United issue is spiritual? It's probably a blood contract that you had with some spiritual entity that's put them in this situation. Because at some point, it doesn't make sense that you sign the amount of players United have signed in the last 4 years, and you end up with this team. Because
But another thing is, I don't believe that the players are
no,
that
no, no,
bad.
no, 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 Chica, no, they're bad. Trust me. See, no,
No, hold on.
more than you
I'll give
believe
you an
they're bad.
example. I'll give you an example of a player that underwhelmed the Man U but ended up having a good career. Demian. He was signed from
Yeah,
Torino
it was
where
time for,
or
yeah,
understand what
eh,
they might not be players for top clubs, but there's something
but
fundamentally wrong with United.
it's spiritual.
I don't know what
It's
it is.
spiritual.
There's something fundamentally wrong that makes these players look.
No,
Zexi can go to La Liga to Serie A now and have a good career. He might not be the best player. He can have play for a mid team. Hoyland was in Atlanta even if he
he
wasn't
was,
starting.
and she
So, but
but
understand what I'm.
see, no, but I also
Yeah,
want you to understand what I'm saying. Then, at what point do we say this is a spiritual problem? This is not tactical. It's not you can solve by transfers. Probably they just see deliverance. See, see. No. See, no. We're talking.
do you know how many? One of I'm not belittling him. I'm not belittling him, but I never believed he was a good Premier League player. Is it Tyrone Mitchell
Yeah.
or whatever? He came from West Ham, right? I think it was West Ham, or was it Palace? I've forgotten.
Tyler Mitchell.
Or was it Palace? When he came up, okay, yeah, he replaced. They had
Yeah,
Nathaniel Klein. It's
yeah.
different from Klein. What is he a
Left,
right back or
is
left
it,
back?
no, exactly. But it's a left back that has been moved to left wing back, and you can see since back up.
You know how many times he had the space to pick a cross, like he
But
had the space
exactly,
to
no, but
settle
exactly
down.
what I'm saying. So sometimes you can see how this player improved with this coach in this new system because it's not like I'm talking about two of them. The other guy on the right, Muniz and Mitchell.
So
They've they've
everybody,
they've
everybody, everybody had improved in that
they've
club.
improved
Everybody. I never believed Munoz is
exactly.
that good.
So,
He's
so, so,
good.
so
We good. I never believed he was this good. Look at the US guy, something Richards. They have
yeah,
one
Chris
US
Richards
guy. He
is
is
good.
good. Like
Will you,
Chris Richards, like whoever they bring into
man,
that squad just plays very well.
the striker, Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Marketing,
See,
yeah. And you know they was
Mateta. I've seen enough. Bring him to Stamford Bridge. I've seen enough. That's the next. You know what Chelsea need.
they say he
It's
scored, I think they say it's like six
you know what
goals, 6 straight goals or
you,
something like that, or five.
you know what
Yeah.
Chelsea missed the most. Forget all this. Chelsea missed an uncle in attack. We need another uncle in attack. We're a team that had a lot of uncles. We had Drogba, Anelka, Maluda, Kalu.
Yeah, yeah,
Bring
yeah.
Mateta. We need that kind of uncle. We need that uncle energy in that attack. That senior man. That's on that.
To finish up chances. Yeah.
Not even to finish up chances is the confidence because even before he scored, you see he was playing very well at the center forward, leading the line well, getting the ball, holding
I
up.
felt so bad when I read a
He was
report
giving he was
in Athletic that said they called Toby Alvera Tosin uncle in Chelsea. I'm like,
uh,
Jesus. A young Tosin at
that's what I'm
27.
saying.
Like when
We
I
need
read
more
that,
uncles. See, we need more.
I said,
See, we need
Tosin uncle. Oh my
two
God.
players, Mateta or La Ania. We need those two uncles back at Chelsea. If you get those, bring uncles back to Chelsea. But again, back to United. How do you how
But do you think he'll get sacked if he continues?
if he continues? I feel
I don't think
no
they'll
because
sack him. the owner, Jimmy Ratcliffe, the
Okay,
guy
okay,
is
okay,
he's too
okay,
money
okay.
conscious.
See, it's not about money conscious. They don't have a lot of money in that club anymore. That's why I said the amounts of money they spent with the former coach Ten Hag, or they allowed Ten Hag to spend, or they allowed Ten Hag to design this team in his own image. What image it was, I don't know. I'm talking about Anthony, Messi. Where's Messi Mount? Messi Mount. That's between Anthony, Messi Mount, and Højlund. That's about two Premier League goals this season for about 200, for about
Yeah, I read yesterday that Elanga has created or assisted more
okay,
goals than
exactly.
Anthony Ahmad. I was reading it yesterday.
Exactly. But Chika, you're not sharing me. Look at Elanga. Look at even the guy that was in goal for Crystal Palace today. Henderson. He was at United a few years ago. Look at what Scott McTominay is doing in Syria with Napoli.
And if you look at how much they sold him, I think they sold him 20 something million. I don't think he cost over
Yeah,
30. And they bought Onana for 60 something. So is the difference is Onana 40 something million euros better than
exactly. How
Henderson?
do you how do you explain like a goalkeeper that's as good as Onana? We also Onana has always been it's not always been the best of goalkeepers, but it's always assured. How do you explain the mistake he made a few weeks ago against Brighton, where it's as simple as you can get. He comes out, he gets the ball, and just lets it go for tapping. How do you explain it if it's not spiritual? And the team United that these are the issues where you have a club that has been run so badly in the last for more than a decade, where Ruben Amorim is doing a press conference after another home defeat. They have to stop the press conference because the roof is leaking. This is
Mhm.
Manchester United. So it's not just football. It's that the toilets are leaking. There are rats running in that stadium. There's a hyena buried under that stadium as well. so, so so again, see. You know what? It's not football. So it's. But I honestly feel with Amorim with today's game in mind, I feel the tactics. I don't understand. I don't understand what you're trying. Are you trying to send a message to the owners that you need a striker, where you go with Kobe Mino as the false nine?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have two
yeah, yeah,
strikers
yeah.
on the bench. Okay, I know they've not scored goals recently, but it's different. It's
No, but I read something. They say it was because he had a good game in the
yeah,
Europa
I know.
League. He scored
No,
and he
yeah,
accepted. And he wanted
yeah.
to try
But
it
he
out.
had a good game playing as a number 10, playing behind Zexi. But then he had that good game. Then you then move him to a first line position against a team that sit a bit deep to counter in Crystal Palace. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. And not that you tried it in the FA
Yeah,
Cup or
exactly.
League Cup. Those are games where you
So,
tried to. It's not in a
so,
Premier
I,
League
so I
game.
just feel the selection, the tactics, and how slow he was to react to the substitution. Because a lot of United fans that were watching the game as it was going on, it was like, okay, you know what? We've seen this picture before. They will get a chance, or a mistake will happen, they will score, and that's it. And that's how it unfolded. But I just feel with him, I feel because it will get to a point because there's still a lot of games to go in this season. They still have the FA Cup, they still have the Europa League as well. So there's still a lot of games. But if he has to find a way to bridge the gap between the long term and the short term, where you just, for example, I would suggest just to tweak a little bit. You keep the three centre backs. You've obviously they brought in a guy that can play left wing back for them. But I'll take Ahmad back to right wing back because a better. I know Ahmad has had he's probably the best attacker right now in the football club. But I feel you need him. You need a player that can bring you that attacking momentum from wing back position. So I'll play Ahmad at right wing back. Then I'll change it from a two in midfield because I feel that's something that's been giving them a lot of troubles since it's coming, where they get outnumbered easily in midfield. Whatever combination they try,
Mm-hmm.
Fernandez, Meno, Ugarte, is just not. They don't compete enough in that midfield. So I'll tweak that to a three midfield, like something like one Inter Milan do, where they have Inter Milan have Mkhitaryan, Shalanoglu, and Barella in midfield. I'll tweak it to a three midfield. You get more bodies there. you get Kobe Mino, Fernandez, and another person. Then those two can they get a bit of license to go forward when they can. And I'll play with two strikers. I'll play with Zexi and Hoyland. And I hope at some point one of them scores a goal. Just
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
get that. So, fitness allowed, I will get that, run with that system for a couple of games and build something there because you can't keep losing games where they lose games because it's because you want because again people because the question then comes in, how can we believe in you when you've not given us anything to believe in? You look at your record, you look
Anything,
at your record,
yeah.
seven home games, five losses. Forget I understand there's a lot of context that go into it, but a lot of people don't have time for this context. They don't have time for this nuance. They just want to see a good team that plays good football every week. But sometimes you have to take your medicine for you to get there. And I also feel this is they have to grind it out. Whatever United can accomplish this season, outside of relegation troubles, is a plus. They just have to find a way to just get to the end of the season as quickly as possible. And Amorim has to understand he has this he has this habit where he tends to give away too much when he's doing his press conferences. I feel first of all
Yeah,
he
yeah,
needs to be
yeah.
a bit more not cagey, but he needs to be a bit more cute when he's giving his answers because I understand what he was saying with the Rashford situation and the backup goalkeeper. I understood the overall point he was trying to make. But you should understand when you're talking to these English guys in the media, they will play on they'll they'll play with your words.
And they want to get the food
Exactly,
for you.
and I feel he's a very smart lad. I feel he should work on that because it makes other things become the story and becomes a big whole situation where you then have to then come back, apologize. Okay, this is not what I meant. I was trying to say this, but English is not my this. So I feel he can afford that. Avoid those situations. But again, I just feel United fans, it's the mess you have is the mess you have. You have to just sometimes just write it out. If you're thinking about starting another manager, and it's almost the same message that we have for Chelsea fans again. Say for example now, say hypothetically it gets worse, then they sack him at the end of the season. Who do you think they can attract to this club? Who do you think what other managers out there that will put his name as head coach into that to this club?
The only guy that they can get this
Southgate.
emotional appeal is maybe
That's
no. Apart from, I don't even think he can. Maybe Michael Carrick,
yeah,
the bro.
yeah, but again, it's I think it's
Maybe yeah.
because you can't it's this they want you can't expect short term solutions for a long term problem. It has to take time to get the right players out, get the right players in, and just change the culture of that club. And I feel that started slowly. Like Marcus Rashford will probably soon be announced as an Aston Villa signing. He's left the club, but who do you replace Rashford with? Rashford was if not was probably the only competent goal scorer in that team amongst the attackers.
If Rashford goes to Villa, if Rashford goes to Villa and has a good career or which I doubt, but at the same time, it's
You know what?
possible. If he goes there, then the reason when I see people make mockery of Unai Emery and say, "Oh, why he's on loan," I think Villa have nothing to lose
Yeah,
because it's a loan. If it doesn't work, he goes
yeah.
back. He doesn't have obligation. So it's also possible he's just tired of that environment. I think he's tired of playing football right now. If it's the environment that is making him tired of playing football, it's okay. But if he goes to Villa and has a good career, let's do a quick take. Let's move quickly. Let's. I will give a shout out to my favorite player. 2 minutes each. Let's go. Chris Woos. Shout out to him. 33-year-old. He aged like fine wine. He gets better every year. This is a player that moved to Newcastle for like 25 million, I think euros or pounds. And that was when Isaac wasn't the Isaac. He was supposed to be the main striker. He had a good season. He had a good career in Burnley. At the time, he scored 14 league goals, 15 league goals, 30. He had a good career in
No,
Burnley
it's
because
actually.
Burnley, he played for Leeds, he plays for Ipswich.
I think
Yeah.
it's always if you look at if you look at his Premier League record at the level he was playing with Burnley all those years ago, his goal return is actually quite decent for the teams he's played for. Obviously, I know it's
Yeah, but he flopped in Newcastle.
no
Newcastle,
well
49 games, 5
yeah
goals. But that was a club that was changed.
exactly
That was a club in the midst of a
exactly
change from Steve
yeah
Bruce. So they didn't have
They
all
did.
these players they have now.
I don't
So
think Isaac wasn't there yet. I think that was before Isaac came. Because I remember they got him in the January window, and they were still in the somewhat in a relegation battle that season. And it was the case somewhat like it was almost a situation where you go and buy the best striker from the teams around you, where you like Burnley were also there as well. You buy Burnley's best striker.
um,
Ultimately, Burnley get relegated last season, and I know it's not a lot of goals, but 5 goals. You ultimately stay up, then you bring in Isaac and whatnot. Then you go on to become the team Newcastle have become.
yeah, because they took a 10 million loss from
Yeah.
him or on him. He was signed for like 25. They sold him for 15. This season, 17 goals in 24 games. And one of the reasons why I feel this season that he's delivering is he has two very good players behind him. I was checking the chances they create each game. He has four players that can create at least two
Yeah.
chances each. Olaina, Morgan Gibbs, Elanga, and then I had the third person, Elliot
Yeah.
Anderson. These three players behind you, they can give you any goal
Yeah.
scoring chance. Who else do you have this week for striker?
I have my guy, one of my players I've enjoyed watching this season, Liam Delap. I know Ipswich didn't get
I've not really watched him that much.
they didn't get the points this weekend, but shout out to him, he's doing amazing stuff. But I want to give a big shout out to another club and the striker there, David Moyes and Beto at Everton.
Yeah,
Um, um,
never. Where is he from? Is he from Equatorial
Beto,
Guinea?
I think it's Portuguese. I think it's Portuguese. It's one of those one of those.
No, it's not
I think
Portuguese.
it's I
It's not.
think no.
It's not. This is why I thought he was Portuguese, but when I saw the flag of the country when they listed him, the flag is green. I'm suspecting it might be Equatorial Guinea, but it might be Portuguese speaking. Help me check. He's not. Maybe he grew up in Portugal, but his national team is not
Well,
Portuguese. I was suspecting it's Guinea-Bissau or something.
according to a quick wiki, is was born in Portugal. Well, he represents Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, I told
Yeah.
you. I told you. Is Equatorial? Yeah, it's Guinea-Bissau. Yeah, I saw the
So I
flag.
think
Yeah,
just give me a
continue.
quick shout because the striker that moved to Everton for fairly big money, about £25 million. He hasn't really found his form there, but I feel with Calvert Lewin's current injury issues and his overall form, I feel it's a striker Everton should give a run of games. Because while I was in Italy with Udinese, I always just from afar, always glimpse his goal scoring prowess. He always seemed to be a very useful striker, so I'm happy to see him scoring goals. And David Moyes, another win, another W for David Moyes. That's three straight wins. So back to back
Hmm,
home,
that's
so
massive.
three straight wins, back to back home victories, and they scored.
Down there, one win is
Yeah,
massive.
and they scored. The first goal on the day was scored within the first 8 seconds. I,
Yeah, that's the fastest home game goal in the
yeah,
Premier League.
and
The fastest belongs to Shane
sh-
Young.
sh-
Shane Young,
I
I remember
guess
that guy. I think he was
I
still
think
in Reading.
position, yeah. And yeah, just happy to see. But like, I think we'll discuss this at some point. Like, I'm always happy to see managers like Sean Dyche, David Moyes, I don't know in the Premier League because they bring they bring something different to the table. And also, there's this. And speaking of that, there's this statistic I saw somewhere, and I had to double check it to make sure it was a bit true. You know, this so far, there's been nine games played this weekend in the Premier League, and only two teams won this weekend with a high percentage of possession.
Yeah.
So out of the nine,
So
out of the nine, seven other teams that won this week, they won those games. They won that games with a lower percentage of possession.
it's
And
going to be right because I also read somewhere Everton had the least
yeah,
percentage of
exactly.
possession this season, followed by
Yeah,
Nottingham
and
Forest. That was
exactly,
them back in December.
and the two teams that won with a higher number of possession, Liverpool and Fulham away from home. And
Yeah.
it shows that uh, I, I don't know what to make of this yet, but I feel it shows that a lot of teams finding it's no, they're finding a bit of advantage playing in the transitional where you go away from home, wherever you are. Let the team get the ball. And like there's always been saying like I think it was just remember saying like you're more likely to get you're more likely to concede a goal when you have possession. And the idea being is because when you have the ball, you commit bodies forward. But when you lose that ball and you don't react quickly, you get punished. Like we saw with Arsenal with the Arsenal Man City game and with another one, Nottingham Forest and Brighton game. And just touching on Brighton. I don't know what that club I don't know what exactly is happening right now, but the decision the tactical decision and selection from the manager on the weekend is one of the worst you see this weekend, where you're going away from home to a very good team in good form. Yeah, I know they lost 5-0 the previous weekend, but Nottingham Forest they're quite strong. You go away
No,
you're going away from
yeah.
home. Just I looked at the lineup and I saw they were playing this brave 4-1-4-1 formation where they had two guys. They had Jorginho Ruta and Joao Pedro as the two guys behind Danny Welbeck, with just one single midfielder in there, and they got battered. It was a BTA session, belt to ass session. It was terrible. So. Yeah, always happy to see him doing well. David Moyes doing well. And just a quick question. Like I know we're getting to the last days or last day of the transfer window. If if Ollie Watkins 29 and Liam Delap are available to get for 60 million or thereabouts, what do you get?
For Chelsea?
Say
Oh,
say for Chelsea and
oh,
Arsenal. Ollie Watkins 29 years 29. Liam Delap 21.
well, like I told you, I've not really watched. I've not really
Delap.
watched. I've not really watched the lap, like I told you. But I'll get
Yeah.
Watkins, and this is why. I'm a fan of the lap, but I feel the likes of the lap, the way they play football, I can get it elsewhere.
Okay. Okay.
Evan Ferguson, to me, Ferguson that was in Brighton, I think is a similar style.
Yeah.
The Nigerian or the Spanish boy in FC Porto,
Um,
I think is a
Samu,
similar
yeah.
style. Samu, yeah. So in essence, I'm building for the future. But even with the future, I can get someone. But sometimes it
Yeah,
doesn't
of
work
course,
that
yeah.
way. You can end up getting a Calvin
Yeah.
Lewin, a recent Calvin Lewin, not the old Calvin. Understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know, and I know. But it's also there's a player you mentioned Ferguson, and this is a player that he just about a year ago was being linked to Wolves for about 170 million pounds. And now he barely plays games. He's been injured for long. He's had a lot of injury issues, and it seems he's going on loan to West Ham. And I feel we'll see where exactly he is right in terms of his fitness, his form. But I feel out
Mhm.
of comparing Liam Delap to Ferguson, Ferguson at his best. I feel Ferguson is a better goal scorer than Liam Delap. Although I know it's a small sample size, but with Liam Delap, I feel his overall play is a striker that's one of those few strikers that is a bit like Osimhen in a way where he handles the entire backline by himself. Where you also like we saw against Chelsea, where you just
Mhm.
one ball down the middle and he hunts it, gets it, holds it up, dribbles with it, wins it, gets a penalty or just gets an assist on the second goal. So, but for me, I think personally, for Chelsea, I'll go with Dilap. I'll go with Dilap. I think Dilap has.
But I get you, but this is why I highly rate
Yeah,
Watkins. When I see people criticize him, I feel it's unfair because remember I was telling you beginning of the season that in hierarchy of when Jackson was in his pomp, I always said in terms of all round play, he's the third best behind Isaac, Watkins, and
yeah,
Jackson.
yeah,
I never put Jackson
yeah,
ahead of Watkins because Watkins misses a lot
and
of
that's
chance or
and,
chances.
and
But what he does, he's not just an Ivan Tony goal scorer.
he's
All those boys are eating. Rogers is eating. All those boys, he contributes a lot coming back, getting the ball. And that's why I kept saying, in as much as I trust Duran, if you sell Watkins, I strongly
you know
believe
you know
100% that Duran would not have been able to show that,
yeah,
that
yeah,
because all it takes is six
yeah.
games not scoring, and you see everybody. So in essence, I didn't know Watkins. You knew him
Yeah,
earlier than I knew him. I knew him when he
yeah.
signed newly. They had a striker that used to score. He scored for Southampton a lot of goals. He's in West
Um,
Ham right now.
um,
Remind me, he's always
Inks,
doing well.
Starlinks.
That is, but he was only
Yeah,
scoring. So I knew they had Ings and Watkins. I knew Watkins as a striker. You knew him
yeah,
in Bournemouth, Brentford. I didn't know him. But it was you that told me he was a winger. But if you see the
yeah,
way he plays, you realize that he's not just a
yeah.
striker. He was a striker that
He
became a winger.
he
Yeah. So that's why I
he
rate him
played.
so much.
I think you. I think I'll. What you said. You just changed my mind. And just one thing. Chelsea need more uncles in that team, so I think I've definitely got Watkins. I think Watkins will get to that. We get to that uncle level. And again, I feel and I will admit I just did it just now. These two players, one has a good record of goal scoring in the Premier League and overall a very good attacker. But I somewhat went with the younger player because he's younger. And it's also like speaking of players like Chris Wood, for example, a player that's 34 years old, scoring goals as
Yeah.
well. And also I found out this week that Jamie Vardy since Jamie Vardy turned 30, he scored 100 Premier League goals since he turned 30 years in the Premier League. So it shows sometimes age is when it comes to goal scoring, age is just a number. And
But but Leicester has the
oh
worst
no, I'm not, no,
defense
no,
in Premier
no,
League.
absolutely. It's and, and
It is so bad that I don't know how they became
no,
professionals.
it's
It is, and on the wing, on the hold on. Is so, to me, maybe I'm wrong. Christensen and Justin might be bad. They are not as bad as the central, the
no,
defensive midfielder, Somare and wings, and the central defense. They
no.
are bad. They had a
It's
I was watching who played them. They ate them
what's
for lunch. I'm looking at the decisions
Everton.
they are making. I'm like, what is
I
wrong?
feel the first goal they gave away against Everton within 10 seconds of that game. It's one of those times where I wish the manager had a bit more balls. I would have substituted the pair of them within the first 10 minutes. This it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
And their goalkeeper, no matter who it is, they have two. They are good. They can save. The two of them, they are
Yeah,
not that bad.
they have
But
it's and again it's just you see and also just last point a bit of a shout out to Liverpool, but also Van Dijk and Konate. I feel those are the pair. That's the best defensive partnership in I feel for personally in world football. They they know how to defend in every phase. They know how to defend against the false lines. They know how to defend against the target number 9, the big guy. They know how to defend in the high line, defend their box. I feel the way they complement each other physicality, that's both also they are very
yeah,
strong. They are very strong and aggressive. They both of them are a bit cheeky sometimes. They always leave a bit extra when they make that tackle or when they go in on players. But I feel when it comes to the complete package, the closest pairing would be the one Arsenal, Saliba and Gabriel. But I feel the extra
yeah.
the extra experience they have there, Konate and Van Dijk. And I feel like again people always say with Chelsea, and I know Chelsea didn't play this week, so we can't really talk about them. When people say Chelsea didn't strike, I say for me, if you put Van Dijk and Konate in Chelsea this season, Chelsea top the table right now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's as simple as that. Because
yeah,
when you can go away to games, and even you see managers like Thomas Frank, who was there was this video that they did on YouTube recently where he was talking with some guys from this analytical group where they were like, okay, that game they played against Liverpool, how did we play? And they said, okay, see, we had
yeah,
14
yeah.
dangerous attacks.
Oh, oh. There's a breaking news
Well,
right now.
if it,
Kani Chukwuemeka is
okay,
going
if you
out on
don't
loan.
Garnacho,
I just saw
if
it
you don't
now. But
Garnacho, and
no, no, I don't know who it is. I just
oh,
saw the Bundesliga side. I don't know
okay,
who it
okay.
is. But they've agreed.
Where's it going?
Oh, oh.
Where's it going? Dortmund.
I don't know. They say the
Yeah,
Bundesliga. Oh, hold on.
I think it's Dortmund. I think it's Dortmund. I think yeah,
It might
yeah,
be
it's going
Dortmund.
Dortmund.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dortmund. It's Dortmund.
fair play to him. I feel that's a move that's come 6 months late. He should have been gone on that loan because it's like canny
But I don't like Dortmund for
no,
him.
but you know what I feel if he could.
No, everybody who goes on loan, I don't know what it is. Dortmund has good players, but when they take a player on loan, it
Yeah,
doesn't go well. I
yeah,
don't know
I
why.
know.
But
Well.
well, it's better
No,
than
no.
nothing.
Like Sancho was on loan last year, did well. They got to the Champions League final. Martin as well. But I just feel,
Yeah, Messi,
well,
yeah.
personally, I feel with Kane, for example, he's a player that has bags of talent, and he just needs to play game. And I don't know. Obviously, I don't know him as a person, but I wouldn't be comfortable if I was in his shoes, seeing the likes of Nwaneri, seeing the likes of Morgan Rogers and Aston Villa playing Premier League games, scoring hat tricks in the Champions League. Just, not, I'm not, I don't know who's better in ball, just because he's got to that platform to perform. He can go out there and express himself. And I just hope he stays fit, gets a lot of minutes, but ultimately shows how good he is, because I feel Kane is one of those players that if he gets enough games and if he's lucky with his health, I feel could be a very good player for a very good team. I'm talking about Arsenal, Man City, United, those kind of teams. If Chelsea,
But
if Chelsea are not interested
the,
in keeping him, but we'll see.
the, the, the last one before we end it, did you notice that growing up, there was a loan market for 6 months? Because I remember Daniel Sturridge went on loan to West Brom, Lukaku went on loan. No, Daniel Sturridge went to
Yeah,
Bolton, Lukaku went on
yeah,
loan
but
to West Brom. These are six
it's,
months
it's,
loan. After some time, nobody people stopped going on 6 months loan. It became one full year. Suddenly, 2 seasons ago, or just this season, they started going on loan again. 1 year because of PSR. If you notice very, very well, now players are being frozen out so easily. It's not part of the plan. Managers have the balls to say,
you know, I feel, and I think probably we have like a good, like some with review at some point. But I feel one of the reasons this is happening is because for a long time, for a large period of time, Premier League clubs have become very wasteful. Where before PSL came in, like Kane is the perfect example of a player where you buy Kane for about 50 million pounds. You don't really need him, but he's coming, he's barely played any game, and you see, okay, he's not playing games, he's not developing, and you want to sell him, and you're asking for 40 million pounds. Where who's giving you who's giving you?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's why you see a lot of loans now, and with especially with this multi-club situation, Chelsea, Man City, a lot of clubs. It seems even Brighton, for example, you buy in bulk. Because you see, like, because a lot of Chelsea's recruitment guys, they're from Brighton, and the one thing they have in common is that recruitment is they recruit players in bulk. They sell a lot of players. The volume of players is very high.
Chelsea, Strasbourg bought a player that Chelsea
Yeah,
wanted
last
to
season.
buy,
Yeah,
like it's from Sevilla or
yeah, he
something
was
like that.
Argentine
Argentine.
left back. But guess where he didn't want to go to? He didn't want to join Chelsea, but he signed with Brighton. That's like see the point I'm trying to make there. So you see,
Yeah,
so it's this whole situation
yeah.
where, because I feel end of the day, for especially most clubs that don't have Champions League football, you have to find a way to maximize your earning powers. And it will seem a bit odd at first, but sometimes when you sign a player for relatively small amounts and you end up selling that player for big fees down the line, you make that profit. But the challenge that Chelsea and most clubs will find is how do you grow a talent from this level, how do you scale him up to that level? And the only way you can scale that is playing time. So you then find ways to get those players. You see, but it's something Chelsea have been very notorious because I remember during the Roman era that I think there was a period where we had about 30 or 45 players on loan.
Yeah. We have one
Yeah, the
Davidson. Yeah,
Chelsea Lona Bola, you have a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
guys
yeah.
from the academy, guys that you bought that were not good enough. You can't shift them, you just keep loaning them out. So I just feel overall, in terms of the transfer window, I personally feel most clubs will do well to stop the spending. I feel a lot of Premier League clubs, because when you spend, I don't know, because it is because I feel a lot of clubs spend now because of fan pressure. Because sometimes you look at most of the, like see Chelsea, for example, not just even because I know it's easy to target this new ownership, but the amount of times Chelsea have gone out to spend on big players, I feel the I feel the hit percentage would be about about 30%, 40% that have come in.
Oh, it
And
doesn't really
and I
work
was
out. It doesn't really work
and
out.
also you're always better in, and this is where coaches need to come in because you can coach your way out of a problem. You can, and that's why I feel what Slot has done with Liverpool is probably one of the. It's been fantastic. So, of course, he's gone in. They've not had any signings so far. Well, they had Chiesa, but Chiesa has had little or no impact on the team. But it's virtually the same level, the same group of players they had last season. But he's found ways to improve them by coaching them, improving players tactically, improving players' decision making the team better. And I feel it's almost as if I feel if with Liverpool being in this situation, if they had gone on the market and signed players, say they have signed the Spanish guy they were trying to get, Zubimendi comes into Liverpool for that big price. Immediately he has to start games because it's a big money signing you've invested in. You need to play him. And what that happens,
Yeah,
you don't then Gravenberg doesn't get this development he had this season. You understand? So this whole solution, where sometimes I
yeah,
feel if I feel like if what you have the tools already at your disposal. Of course, if there's an injury and something, then you go from there. But if you don't have it, you look inward. Look at your academy. Look. A lot of Premier League clubs should look.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
Premier League clubs should be looking at that because a lot of Premier League clubs have invested heavily in the academy. Like clubs like Tottenham are complaining about injury crisis. Where are the kids? Why are the kids not playing?
They just started playing. They had
Yeah, yeah,
Jai,
yeah,
then
yeah.
they
They had.
Maximo, and I don't know why he
No,
hasn't
I
given
just
them.
I know he's complaining about
But
injuries, but why are the kids? How like it's not and again it's this obsession with finding wonder kids. I feel that's one word I would try to use use less of going forward because this something that every player that's age 17, 18 should all be next wonder kid. But sometimes a player doesn't like Harry Kane, for example. Harry Kane is the best example. Harry Kane was never rated at Tottenham, was never deemed the wonder kid. Was the player that he had multiple average lows in the championship.
He had
He had
Millwall.
he
He
had
had
he had, he
Millwall.
had, he had Millwall,
Okay, he had
Leicester,
Millwall, Linton Orange,
Norwich. Like
Leicester,
he
yeah,
had
and Norwich
he
for
had.
loan.
I'm talking about it was like
But funny enough, he was backing those. This form he had for Tottenham, he had it in the Championship. The only place he didn't succeed was Norwich, where he played only
yeah.
3 games. When I checked Leighton on it, I think I saw 8 goals in 40. He
Yeah,
wasn't doing
uh,
badly on loan.
yeah,
No. I didn't know he
and
was that
and
good
and
on
I
loan.
feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
as much as like Harry Kane became who he became.
Hold on. They also had Tom
Yeah, they
Carroll,
had Tom
right?
Carroll, they had all those guys. They had they
I
had
I
Wayne
remember
Skip,
Tom
but they
Carroll.
also had guys like Josh Onomah. But again, you look inward, you find it.
Hold on. Jamie O'Hara, did he come before
Yeah, yeah, way
Hurricane?
before Harry Kane. Jimmy O'Reilly was at least O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah,
O'Reilly
O'Hara
was with it was with them Jack.
Pavlyuchenko. Well, he came after
Oh,
Pavlyuchenko.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
the batch.
So
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel a lot like with
Modric,
Chelsea.
yeah.
Okay, as much as I want Chelsea to get a striker, but also like you know what, if you don't get a striker this window, you know what's fine. You keep it, and then you look inward. You see, okay, Nkoko, can you do a job? Okay, Jackson's not performing. You drop Jackson like Christopher Nkoko. You can do something. You're a good player. We've seen a lot of players. I know you're not a traditional number 9. But we've seen a lot of players play out of position and they've become good. Lewis Kelly, who we talked about earlier during the pod, that's a midfielder playing left back. But he's playing fantastically. You can still contribute, you can find solutions. Okay, if it doesn't work, this is Cobham. Go pluck one kid from the academy and play him. You don't need to go out there and chase. It was almost like it's almost like it's this shiny new toy. You need to get excited about a new transfer. And if transfer is
Yeah.
not if it's not big enough, if it's not exciting enough, it's a bad transfer. Sometimes you look at the championship. Who are the young players doing well in the championship? You go there, buy one of them, give them the game time, give them the opportunity, and you train and coach this player. You don't need again. You know what? I'll end it. If I see Garnacho at Chelsea, if I see Garnacho at Chelsea, if I see Garnacho at Chelsea,
that that
I'm gonna lose it.
I don't think the move is
I'm
gonna
go, I'm
happen.
I'm gonna lose it. If I see Garnacho at
that,
Chelsea, I'll be
I don't think the move is
see.
going to
I'm
happen.
telling you.
That should be all for us today. Thanks for our viewers. Join us again
Okay, thank you.
next time.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.